Please be advised that Little Miss Recap contains adult language.
Good evening. The princess who spent her life in the relentless glare of the public eye died in a speeding car in Paris, apparently trying to evade pursuing photographers. Her body was brought home today under a cloudy English sky. It was a silent, sad ceremony at an Air Force base outside London. Prince Charles accompanied the coffin, draped in the royal family's flag, on the flight from Paris. Diana was killed there early today in a car crash along with companion Mohamed Al Fayed and a chauffeur. Buckingham Palace said funeral plans are expected to be announced tomorrow.
Hi everyone, welcome to Little Miss Recap, the podcast where I'm such an idiot that I had to learn how to pronounce Saint-Tropez 15 times. I said to Timmy, what is the name of that? Is that Saint-Tropez? And he's like, I don't know. We're looking at it on the screen.
Right.
And I'm like, is it Saint Tropez?
It is in fact not Saint Tropez. Well, actually, probably in English it is Saint Tropez, but in you just snorted. It's not even been a minute and we've achieved snorting. This is great. So in French, it would be Saint-Tropez.
Right.
And
Timmy
they are in France.
And
so
Timmy,
that is how that is going. Yes.
He goes, you're the one who claims you know French. Do you pronounce the Z in French? I'm like, no.
Right.
Not at all. It
So
would
then
be
it would
Tropez. He's
Tropez.
like, then why are you asking me if it's Saint-Tropez? Clearly it is.
Does Timmy say to you a lot, why are you asking me this? Is that a common phrase uttered in your home? I feel like it might be.
What you have to understand is he speaks Spanish.
Oh.
So I just rely on him for all things not English.
Same with Todd. I mean, Todd doesn't even speak Spanish fluently. He didn't live in Costa Rica, a la your sweet husband. But he does speak a fair bit of Spanish.
Right.
And so when we were in Spain, I didn't even bother. I was like, talk to this dude. I got, when we get to France, I've got you.
Yes.
Talk to this dude here.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, you can rely on me for a good old English accent. Would you like a spot of tea?
I think it only works if you're screaming it.
Yes.
And we're going to have a lot of opportunity over the next 10 episodes for you to scream British accents.
It's so hackneyed, my accent. It's terrible.
Yeah, there's a bit of, there's a lot going on in it.
Yes. Oh, yes.
There's a lot happening in it.
Guys, I don't know how to pronounce things. I have terrible accents. I mean, I'm all the terrible things.
So my previously mentioned best friend, Wendy, her parents are from England.
Okay.
And she was actually born in Germany, but moved to Michigan when she was like 10 months old. So she's always, her dad was working abroad in Germany. That's where she was born. Then
is she a dual citizen?
She was a British citizen until we were 23. She was never a German citizen because both of her parents were British. Yeah. So, but her birth certificate is in German. So when she had to go get her real ID, it really befuddled the DMV. They did not know what to do with that. But so her grandfather used to come and visit, and he was from Newcastle, I believe. She's going to listen to this and probably be like, no, you're wrong. But I believe he's from Newcastle. Regardless, he would come, Amy, and he would talk, and all of us would just look at Wendy and go, what the hell did he just say?
Yeah.
He had he was the sweetest man. He'd be like, hello, love, and just start screaming at us because he was deaf as a doornail. In this so thick British accent, we'd all be like, hi, Mr. Pim. Hi, Mr. Whatever your name is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Peaky Blinders. You can't watch Peaky Blinders without the subtitles.
I know.
Can't.
I need to watch Peaky Blinders. I've also been told Dairy Girls you cannot watch without the subtitles because you just can't. Okay. It's not British accents, but it's
Peaky Blinders. I mean, Tommy Shelby.
I know. I gotta get there.
It's Amanda. It's a Don Draper situation.
Oh fuck! Is he toxic as hell and hot?
Oh fuck! Yes.
Oh fuck!
Yes,
that's the worst kind. Yes, the hot toxic as hell men. Oh, they're the best.
It is 100% a Don Draper situation. So you need to get on that right away.
Okay. I'll get to that.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know who we are, I'm Amy Archer. I'm your host, and I'm with the lovely Amanda Lipnack-Rydell. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, friends. We are so excited to talk about The Crown.
We're really excited. And
I'm so happy we're doing this season because this is the season that we were like. This is the time period where you and I were full-fledged adults.
Yes.
So, like, I remember all of these things happening.
Yes, I agree.
You know, not that I didn't love the early seasons. My favorite of the queens was Claire Foy by far. She was the first Queen Elizabeth.
Mine as well. And the first 2 seasons of The Crown were my favorite.
They were my favorite. However, my favorite character of all of it was when Helena Bonham Carter was Princess Margaret.
Oh, yes. Yes. One of my favorite episodes, I don't know what season it is when they go to visit that town and the mining disaster collapse.
Yeah, I think it's
oh my God.
I think it's actually in the 3rd season because I think it's the second queen. I don't think it's Claire Foy that does that, but regardless, that's a beautiful episode. One of the things I've loved about the show,
It's
I'm going to talk a lot about this show, but one of the things I've loved is the portrayal of Queen Elizabeth and the internal fight she has between being sovereign, wife, mother, sister, friend.
Agreed.
And the places where those come into conflict and which one she chooses. And she always chooses being the sovereign.
Because I feel like that was drilled into her.
It was drilled into her.
Yes.
She has had an insane sense of duty.
Oh, we can RIP her.
We can absolutely RIP her. Yeah, okay. We can talk about the fact that the monarchy is a shit show, colonialism, all of that.
I don't believe the monarchy should exist.
I don't believe it should exist either. I enjoy it. I enjoy the pomp and circumstance of it, but letting go of all the problematic parts of the monarchy, I enjoyed Queen Elizabeth. And I can't say King Charles yet. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's still Prince Charles. I actually sometimes still will call Diana Lady Diana.
Okay.
Sometimes.
I will say that is going to be the show's official position, down with the monarchy. However,
okay, that's fine.
Okay. However, we're going to talk about this series because we love it so much.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can't deny that this is just such a part of culture.
It is.
It's problematic one, but we like it.
It's amazing how much of a part of American culture.
Well,
into the monarchy Americans are.
One of my first memories is that wedding.
Oh, Charles and Diana? Yeah.
Yes.
I remember my mother waking me up.
Yes.
To watch it.
I had to be, what year was it? 1981? I was 4.
Okay.
But I remember watching it. I was probably 4. I might have been close to 5. And I do remember just watching this beautiful woman in this beautiful dress. And my mother was so into it.
Oh, yeah.
So into it.
Oh, yeah. When Charles was coronated a couple months ago, I spent the night at my friend Wendy's house, the aforementioned Wendy, and we got up at like 3 a.m. and started watching the whole thing. Like, she was like, "Can you come watch it with me? My husband won't." I'm like, "Yes, I will do that." I was like, "I'm going to get up anyway. I may as well do it with you, and we can have a mimosa."
Absolutely.
5 a.m.
I will say this: I am not a student of the monarchy.
Okay,
I'm going to rely on your knowledge for this.
I know a bit, probably enough to be dangerous. But we'll see. We also have the whole internet right here, so we can fact check anything we need to.
Like, watching The Crown was the first time I had paid attention to a lot of this.
Oh, okay, got it.
Like, I don't know what I was doing, but I just didn't pay attention to a lot of it. I remember the wedding, of course, and we'll talk about it. I remember where I was when she died, of course, but like in between then, I didn't pay much attention to it.
Oh, I paid attention when they divorced and when they split up and when William and Harry were born. Yeah, no, I paid attention to all of that. The part I remember being a little kid, when you were a little kid, did you get like obsessed with some historical stories that like someone told you and you were, of course you did.
Are you serious right now?
Sorry,
do you want to talk about Vietnam?
I'm sorry, I forgot about Vietnam.
Or JFK?
JFK. So the two for me that I was obsessed with as a kid was Love Canal. Not sure why, but I made my mother tell me the story of Love Canal often.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay.
And the other one was King Edward and Wallace Simpson. And the abdication and all of that. Like I was obsessed with that.
My grandma would tell me that story all the time. Yeah.
I was obsessed with that. And then to find it, I didn't really I knew a bit, but I didn't know just how much of a Nazi he was until The Crown. Yeah, he was bad dude. To think about how history would have changed had he stayed on the throne.
I know, it's crazy. My gran would tell us, my favorite stories that my gran would tell us were from the Depression. And growing up during World War II. And then absolutely JFK. Yeah. I would make her tell me over and over and over and over again about the day he died.
Oh, I made my mother tell me over and over and over again as well. Because my mom, he died in 1963. My mom was 20.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. So are we ready?
Let's talk about this.
Now, I was fiddling around over here, and what I was doing was pulling up an episode description because I'd like to give one. Okay.
Sure.
So this is season 6, episode 1 of The Crown, and there's no... Oh, there is a title. I have it. Yeah. Hold on. It's Persona Non Grata. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So the description reads, while Princess Diana and the boys depart for their vacation in Saint-Tropez.
Very good.
Thanks to Mohamed Al Fayed, Prince Charles pushes his most recent scheme to validate his relationship with Camilla in the public eye.
Yes, that is... I've gone on a journey about Camilla.
I have too.
I have gone on a Camilla journey, both in the show and in the real world. It was interesting. I remember listening to the coronation coverage that Blighty Day did and some of their thoughts on Camilla and all of that. It's very interesting. So anyway, that's just what we're talking about.
Blighty Day, Robin is a Brit and Michelle is a transplant, correct?
Correct. Michelle is a U.S. expat living in London. Robin is British. And then they also had their friend Elliot either with them or they were doing it remotely. I don't know. I believe Elliot is originally Scottish, I believe. Okay. I could be wrong. But regardless, he's been in English politics and government. So he was able to really give a lot of, be like, oh, that's Sir so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. Like that no one else would have ever picked, no American would have picked up. So
yes.
It's interesting.
So we open in Paris. A man is walking his dog and he's interrupted as a car and several motorcycles fly by, crash into the tunnel at night. Obviously, we know what's happening. The crash.
I appreciate the fact that even in French, people get annoyed at their dogs for not peeing at 2 a.m.
I know, right? I know.
It's a universal experience.
It's a universal experience.
But as soon as we were in Paris, I was like, of course, that's how we're starting.
Yeah. So he calls l'emergency and, gets the services on the phone. So now we back up.
Like, there's an accident. I think it's bad. You think?
Bad.
It's bad.
Now we're going 8 weeks earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Diana and William are cruising around listening to tub thumping.
I appreciated the Chumbawamba of it all.
I did too.
I'm sad that we know she's going to die in like an episode or two. Like we know history is what it is. We know this is coming. It's like watching a movie about JFK and then somehow being surprised that he dies. It's like
the Titanic. We
know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Can I RIP the Titanic?
Sure.
RIP.
Sure. RIP. I could watch Diana be a mother with her boys for 7 seasons.
Okay, I'm gonna have a hot take on this that you're not gonna like.
Okay, that's fine.
I loved Princess Diana.
Okay. How could you not?
How could you not? Wonderful, amazing human.
Yes.
I don't like the way that Peter, what's his name, Morgan?
Yeah.
Depicts her as this just constantly childish, like I don't know. I know this is a hot take, but she's smarter than this. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. She has a playful side, but that's not all she had.
No, absolutely not. But I like the fact that we get to see her playfulness with her children. That's wonderful.
Yes.
My complaint about, and I don't know if it's a director thing or if it's the woman playing her, but the fact, and no one can see this, but you can, the fact that every time she's looking down with his eyes up, like the Princess Diana look, but that's that's her only face.
She comes off as, and I don't think this happened last season. Well, maybe towards the end. She's starting to get one-dimensional in my mind. And I feel like she was so much more than that.
She was very bright. She was very engaged. She was very charitable. She appeared by all estimates to be very kind.
I feel like it's so, they're trying so hard to draw the distinction between how Charles is with his boys and how she is with the boys.
Yeah.
And it's like, Okay, anyway. So they're driving around playing Chumbawamba.
Yeah, I love it.
And they head on over to Checkers, Tony Blair's summer house. Now, who had a crush on Tony Blair? This girl.
Oh, did you?
Absolutely. He was
I could see
very cute.
He was very cute, particularly by British Prime Minister standards. I mean, we're putting him up against Winston Churchill and Margaret Thatcher. Yeah, he's a hottie.
I mean,
he's a hottie.
He wasn't as hot as Hugh Grant was when he played the Prime Minister in Love Actually.
No, but he's playing Tony Blair. So
right.
And I love the fact that his wife is like, "You gonna put on your tight jeans? Are you gonna flirt?"
I know. So Tony Blair's telling the Queen about the visit. And he's telling the Queen how Diana still has a lot to offer the world. And she's even getting close to a landmine ban, which 2 years ago would have been unthinkable. And now they have 100 countries willing to sign on. And
Amazing.
I remember her doing that work.
I remember that work too. I remember her AIDS work and her landmine work. Like, those are the two biggest charitable things I feel like she did.
I also weirdly remember her hanging out with Michael Jackson. Was that a thing?
I don't remember that. I am going to Google. She was good friends with Elton John, though. That I know.
And Ryan White with the AIDS stuff. But I want to say she hung out with Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Let's see. Oh, Princess Diana, Michael Jackson. Google search. They met in 1988. Michael Jackson and Princess Diana's first and only. Let's click on that. Oh, God, this might be a mistake. Okay, stop. It's an ad. Okay, here we go. This is breaking news.
Breaking news.
First and only meeting. They met once.
Oh, is there maybe there's a famous picture of it.
Yeah, he's going around and he's going to introduce himself to people. And
we don't realize how, one thing this show has taught me is we don't realize how iconic some of these photographs are and how they've just, there's probably a word for this that I'm not getting, but how they have seeped into our zeitgeist.
Part of the culture. Yes, they are part of the cultural zeitgeist. Have you seen, so as a Philadelphian and a Eastern Pennsylvania, and I'm sure you know the Princess Diana and the Eagles jacket photo.
Yes. Yep.
They have remade the Eagles jacket. They've remade the Princess Diana Eagles jacket and they're selling it now.
Oh, are you going to buy one?
No, it's like $300.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't care that much.
So he says when Diana talks, the world listens. And Diana has confided in him that she wants to be more involved. And any role that he could offer, he goes, that we could offer would be appreciated. And Elizabeth, with a face that does not move, says, I always say it's hard to be half in anything. You're either in or you're out.
Yep.
And she says Diana's the mother of the boys, so she's welcomed here, but she's learning now what it means to no longer be in the royal family.
Yep.
If you catch my drift. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Before we go any further, I need to talk about the woman playing Queen Elizabeth. Did you watch the Harry Potter movies?
Of course.
So you know who she is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. I can't unsee it. I struggle to unsee it.
Yeah, I don't try to unsee it.
Okay.
I forget her name in the movies.
I do too.
I know who she is.
I do too. She was the terrible headmistress who came in.
Yes. Did I ever tell you my story about the Harry Potter movies real quick? I saw the last one first.
Oh, well, that was a mistake. So you know how it wound up. And then you had to go back. Got it.
Yep. Okay. So
Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind. You went to the end and then you began at the beginning.
So Diana is waking the boys for summer holiday. And we see them getting on a helicopter. Then they're going to a private jet. And I will say William
kind of like my vacations.
William has some real teen energy here.
Oh, he really does.
He is every teenager in the world not wanting to go. Like, I took my kids to Virginia Beach, not comparable, but I encountered this behavior.
Of course. Of course. We try to do anything nice for the kid and he's like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's like,
okay. They hate us. It's, you
don't want to do something fun. Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So he's sulking and Diana's like, we need to get out of the country while your father throws a 50th birthday party for you-know-who.
Okay, that might be your reason of getting the hell out of Dodge. You don't need to tell your kids that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, but I think that kind of goes with her youth, maybe her inexperience. She does have, and maybe that's what he's trying to capture, Peter Morgan, is she does have this friend bond with these kids rather than
purely parental. Yeah. I think she was so lonely. She tried to make her, in a lot of ways, tried to make her kids her friends because she was so lonely.
Yep. Hey everyone, stay tuned. Little Miss Recap will be right back after these words. So at the palace, they're getting ready for Camilla's 50th birthday party. And Charles, let's just talk about Dominic West for 5 seconds.
5 seconds? Skip ahead 12 minutes, folks. Okay.
This guy.
If you're interested in Dominic West talk.
Oh, I mean, who is Prince Charles paying off to get this casting?
Seriously.
It's like Amy Archer, now played by Jennifer Aniston.
To be fair, they try to style Dominic West's hair in the same way as Prince
You
Charles.
can't ugly up Dominic West.
No, you cannot ugly up Dominic West, and he is by no means as attractive as, I mean, Prince Charles is by no means as attractive as, or King Charles,
or
as Dominic
charismatic,
West, or charismatic, or
anything.
interesting, or anything. They did dumpy up Camilla Parker Bowles appropriately.
They did.
She's dumpy. By the way, though, I would like to point out in this, it's her 50th birthday.
Right.
My 50th birthday was spent very differently. Just gonna say that.
And I will say this, I think it's so weird that, like, I grew up in a culture, and I've talked about this many times before in regards to the Monica Lewinsky scandal, but I grew up in a culture where I very regularly heard my grandmother talk about Camilla Parker Bowles as ugly.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, she was
Why are you leaving Diana for that?
She was less than Princess Diana because she was ugly.
Yes.
That is awful in retrospect.
It is awful. The way we talked about Camilla Parker Bowles, and I too fell victim to that, 100%. The way we talked about her was absolutely horrible and completely unfair to her. Now, did they have an affair for years? Of course they did. And you know what? They should have gotten married.
They should have gotten married, period.
Yeah, they had no agency over that choice.
Right. That was the problem.
Yeah.
I don't blame Charles for this situation with Diana. I blame Elizabeth and Philip.
I do too.
For it. It's their fault.
I do too. In the same way that I blame them for all of Margaret's woes in life.
Yes. Yeah. But I remember, like, when Monica Lewinsky went down, I mean, people just openly talked about, well, why would he, she's lying
fat and ugly.
Because she's fat and ugly.
Yeah.
Like, what?
First of all, she's adorable. Second of all, it never has anything to do with that. It was purely a power play.
We are so fucked up as women.
Oh, I know.
Because you're a young girl hearing this, and you think my worth is only tied to my looks.
Oh, of course it is.
It's insane. Okay, anyway. So, at
also,
the palace,
folks, if you have never watched The Affair and you find Dominic West interesting, go watch The Affair.
He plays a writer, guys. And he and his wife take their kids to Long Island for
Montauk
for the summer. He meets a waitress. They embark on an affair. Half the story is told from his point of view. Half the story is told from her point of view. It's a genius in storytelling.
The conceit is amazing.
I mean, you have the same event told from two different points of view. It's such subtle nuance. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Best, like, one of my favorite series of all time. The first 3 seasons.
Yeah, it got weird. There was a real rough period, and then
Brendan
the last season was good.
Yeah. Okay, so he says Charles says he and Diana have been divorced for over a year and separated for 5. So we have a time mark. And he says, the queen has to come to this event because it is time for her to make our relationship legitimate. And he plays the insufferableness of Charles real well.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. But this show has given me a lot of empathy for Charles. This whole series.
Me too. Yes.
Because it doesn't seem like his parents particularly liked him.
No.
His father never thought he was good enough.
Nope.
And this was put upon him it's the same thing that's happened to William too. It's put upon him from the moment he came out of the womb.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine living my whole life knowing I can only ever have one job. And I can only have that job when my mother dies.
Yes.
Like, it's fucked up.
There's also kind of a strange relief in that.
Yes. Oh my God.
Job hunt.
Yes, you do. Exactly.
Like, imagine what your life would be if you could take the element of your career completely out of it.
Oh my God. Yeah. And you had all the money in the world to do everything.
Yeah. So. But your parents didn't love you is the downside. Which fucks everything.
Your parents hated you and you got sent to a horrible military boarding school. But you never had to worry about what you were going to be when you grew up.
Yep. So now we see Diana, and we see her in a boat for just a second. We realize she's heading over to Tropez. And Mohamed Al Fayed calls his son Dodi, who's in Paris shopping with his fiance.
No, he's in Los Angeles.
Oh, he's in LA. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. With Kelly Fisher, his fiance, who he's set to marry in 3 weeks.
Right.
And he's like, "You need to get to Saint Tropez because I got something for you. I got something for you on a platter.
I delivered something up for you on a platter."
Mhm.
God,
And he says, "Leave the gold digger, Madame Bikini, behind. I
uh-huh.
have a special guest here." And Dodie tells Kelly that he needs to go on emergency business for his father. And she's not happy, but she's like, do what you got to do. And he says, "Look, soon we'll be married. We'll be in California. We'll have an ocean between us and my
Mhm.
father. And, I got to do this." So then we see Diana arrive at Saint Tropez at his house, and she calls Mohamed Al Fayed Moo.
Mm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I thought I would like to know a whole hell of a lot more about Mohammed Al Fayed. So we know that he bought Harrods. He
Yes.
just wanted to be brought into English society.
He wanted to be a British citizen.
Exactly. And he
Yes.
wanted to be in society. He didn't just want
Yes.
to be a citizen. He wanted to
Correct.
be somebody. And
Hmm.
so he bought Harrods, and that didn't do it.
Mm-mm.
And so his next plan was to marry into the royal family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is quite the plan.
It is quite the plan. You have to have some big balls and a lot of money to pull that off.
Like, I could say I want one of the girls to be Prince Harry's second wife,
Sure.
but how do I put that
Great.
into motion?
Right. Great. I would like to be Julia Roberts tomorrow. Both of
Mhm,
these things are just
mhm.
as possible.
Yes. So Charles heads over to Mummy's house,
Mm.
and he's all passive aggressive. I mean, he's the passive aggressiveness of this family is
Mhm.
amazing. He's kept waiting. And when he gets in, he tells her, "It's interesting being kept waiting. It's like when Anne and I were presented to you and Papa every morning at 9 a.m. and then again at bedtime, bathed and ready for bed. The best 2 moments of our day." so, so
Imagine
he's basically like he saw his parents for 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes a day. And of course that was the 2 times of
Yeah.
their day because they just
Yeah.
want to see their parents. It's all little kids do is they want to see their parents. Imagine living your whole life where you can't walk into a room where your mother is.
It's so weird.
It's
It's so
so
weird.
weird. And the fact that even as her child, he still has to bow. He still has to do all this.
Because the sovereign comes before everything.
Everything. I love the fact that Margaret's like the one person who gets a Margaret and Philip are like the 2 people who get away with calling her by her name.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So he asks her about the party, and she says she can't come because she'll be in Derbyshire visiting a Rolls Royce factory. Oh, you're
Royce
visiting
Factory.
a Rolls Royce
I
factory.
wanna say somebody on UK was from Derbyshire. I wanna say that.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
want to say that. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I want to say that. So I just said it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So Charles is like, "Oh, you're visiting a Rolls Royce factory in the evening?" And she says, "Yeah, maybe it's on Saturday. I can't recall."
I don't know. I'm not in charge of my own schedule.
And he's
God, we're
basically
gonna get
like,
canceled so
"We're gonna get
quickly for
canceled. I'm
our
not doing it anymore."
terrible accents.
He's basically like, "Look, mommy, you light up a fucking room when you walk into it, okay? We need you there."
Right.
And he says, "But I also want your approval. You need to come to show the public that you approve of this." And she says, "But I don't approve. This
Right.
broke up 2 marriages." And then he goes, "What about love, mummy?"
She didn't give
And
a
she's
shit
like,
about
"I
love.
can't come, dude. I can't come. I got to do the
Right.
Rolls Royce thing. Get out of
Right.
here."
I can't come.
Mhm,
I'm not coming to your little party
mhm.
for your trollop of a girlfriend.
Yep.
It's basically what she's saying.
Yeah, 100%. So
Yeah.
the next day, Charles, Camilla, and his team, their team, are
Mhm.
breaking all this down, and I don't have the dude's name, his
PR person. Do
PR
we have a
guy.
team yet? When are we gonna have a team?
I don't think we've established a set team yet,
Okay. For
but
Little Miss Recap, we'll get our own team to do
oh,
our
you mean
PR.
our team? I thought you
Our
meant who
team.
is Charles' team. We have a
No, our
team.
team.
We have a team.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Good, good.
Okay, so the team is right here.
Right. This is the team. Got it.
So his dude tells him that according to a recent survey, 2/3 of people approve of their relationship now and think they should be able to marry, and that's going to be published coming up Sunday or something like
Mhm.
that. They're putting in the paper. Now, this I do remember that this low rumbling in the background of my cultural awareness of Camilla just not being accepted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember that.
By the family, by the
Hmm.
media, by the
Hmm.
people. It
Again,
took a
she was
long
ugly,
time.
guys. She created the heinous crime of having to be compared to the most beautiful woman in the world.
I know. I
Hmm.
know.
So it seems like, so this dude says Diana lost a lot of footing when she did the Panorama interview with Martin Bashir in
Mhm.
95. Have you heard that interview?
I've heard bits and pieces of it, and then it was a big part of the last season too.
I will say the podcast You're Wrong About did a
Yeah, about Princess Diana, yeah.
fantastic series on this. Fantastic. It's like 5 parts, and it's brilliant. Okay, so in Saint-Tropez, Diana and the boys just cannot get away from the paparazzi. Like, can't stop, won't stop. These fucking people.
Jesus Christ.
Could you imagine this? This is insane to me.
It is awful. And this right here is the reason I will never look askance at Harry for leaving the royal family.
I know.
Ever, ever, ever.
I know.
And I happen to be Team Meghan. It doesn't even matter which team I'm on. But I can completely get why he's like, fuck this. These people killed my mother. I'm not doing this shit. I don't have to. My brother is the next in line, and he's had a lot of other people now. Like, I'm like 17th in line now. I'm out. Fuck this noise.
And he's like, I don't think people realize, and not to get onto a Harry and Meghan tirade, but I'm team Harry and Meghan.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that Harry still is processing the trauma of losing his mother.
Yeah.
Which he probably was never allowed to process properly or correctly or in a healthy way.
I'm sure.
And here he has his wife who he sees these events replaying. And how else? He had a trauma reaction to burn everything down and leave. And
I got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I don't either.
I don't blame him at all. Okay. So where are we? Oh, so Dodi shows up and he and his dad have words. And Mohammed's basically like, look, I served her up to you on a platter. Make her interested. Do whatever you got to do. Win her over. This is happening.
Right. Oh my, can you imagine being somebody such that your father like summons you and it's like, I brought someone new for you to fall in love with. Go do it.
I mean, can I do this? Can I be like, here's Prince Harry.
Right.
Make it happen, guys. Yeah.
Go for it. So, kids, get on it. Also, in retrospect, do you think Mohamed Al Fayed is like, wow, that was a poor choice on my part?
No.
You don't?
Not the way they're portraying him. They're portraying him as stone cold.
His son died. I'll be curious to see once we get to that part if we see his reaction.
True. That was harsh. I shouldn't say no. I'm sure he regrets it in some way. But the portrayal that we're seeing of him, he's pretty cold.
He is real cold.
Yeah. So I don't know. So we see them swimming. Oh, Dad leaves and puts Dodi in charge of the guests. He's like, okay, I'm peacing out.
Right.
Set this house. That house.
My God.
Oh my God.
That house and that yacht. And then the little yacht.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
A bang yacht. The little bang yacht, as I call it. So we see them swimming and they're having fun. Smash Mouth is playing, which is telling us it's the 90s and it's fun. And Kelly calls and reveals that she has seen the news. She knows that he's with Diana. Yeah. Well, she knows that Diana's with his father. Right. And he was going to see his father. So she knows.
She's not dumb.
And she's like, I want to come out there. This is crazy. I don't know what you're doing. And he takes this real long pause and is like, all right, come on. Like, fine. Come out, I guess. Fine, whatever. We see William sulking, playing some video games. It looks like he was playing Mortal Kombat, but I could be wrong.
I think that's what he was playing.
I think so.
I mean, that would make sense. It's of the time.
So Diana decides to ride down to the paparazzi and give them a picture so they will leave them alone. What's your thought on this?
I see why she did it. If what she was doing was to buy them some privacy, I get why she did it.
But did it do that?
No, of course it didn't. Also, I don't think it was a mistake that she came out in a really hot leopard print bathing suit and just, pruned and preened on the bow of this little boat on the day that her ex-husband is throwing a 50th birthday party for his ugly girlfriend.
Right. And I like that Peter Morgan lets us think about that. It could be either way.
Yeah. What's her real motivation? And it could be both.
Yeah.
If what she wanted to do was give them a picture, she didn't have to show up looking like a hottie bobati.
Right. And she seems to know them. She knows quite a few.
Oh, yeah. She knows them by name. She
has a good relationship with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Camilla's party begins. Queen Margaret's there, our hero.
Princess Margaret.
Princess Margaret. Yeah. We see this kind of non-elegance implied about Camilla. Like, she gets her heels stuck in the grass. She's fumbly.
Yeah.
Like, we
That
just are,
dress is gorgeous that she's
we just
wearing.
are meant to think that she's, and we've seen this in her character, right? Like, she doesn't buy into this.
No.
And that's actually something I like about her.
I do too. Like, she seems in a lot of ways a more regular person than a lot of the people in the royal family.
Yes.
She grew up in, I mean, her family is something.
Yes.
There's some
she
level
comes
of
from
royalty.
upper crust, right?
Right. But she, I don't know. She always was just
down to earth.
Yeah.
And that's what Charles was attracted to in her.
She was normal.
Yes.
And she talked to him like he was a normal person.
Yes.
And I feel like very few people in any of these people's lives talk to them like they're normal people.
Like, she could go hang out with the guys and smoke a cigar with them. She could go hunting. She could go, she could be that
she'll put on her wellies and trek through the
salt of the earth person. Right. Yeah. Whereas Diana was up here somewhere. So I think that was part of the attraction. And they're continuing that because she doesn't kind of, she fumbles a little bit in this party.
Yeah.
So Charles gives a beautiful toast, and I love the way he talks. Like, as one gets older, one starts to realize what one values in one's life. Like, okay, dude. And Charles says he can't bear to be without her. And then he talks about how she's a hero because despite all the shit thrown at her, she stays. And then at the end, he reads this letter from a general, and he says, Camilla, for you and you alone, I think and I plan. And I thought that was really beautiful.
That's a beautiful Dominic Wells. I know. I think that's a beautiful thing to say to somebody. For you alone,
me too.
I think and I plan. Did he say, or Mike? Go ahead.
We know Charles was like all into art and literature, and that's part of the Charles I love.
Yes.
I
think it'd be interesting to see like what he would have made of his life if he got to be out in the real world.
Yeah.
Did he say, or am I imagining this, that you choose the person you can't live without?
Oh my God.
I think they did, a la The Bachelor.
He said, yes, I think he does. A la Trista and Ryan from The Bachelorette telling it to Gary, and then Mama Brandon telling Brandon and
Yes,
Ryan.
it's showing up everywhere. Yes.
We get it, guys. We get it.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So Princess Margaret calls the queen later, and she's like,
you fucked
Charles,
up.
Charles was relaxed and confident, and it was really nice, and I think you need to start supporting him on this.
Yeah.
And she says, he will be king one day, and this is a dig, of course, and we want our kings and queens to be happy, don't we?
Uh-huh. I didn't get to be happy, but you did.
And then she says, good night, Lilibet. Okay. Then
I love the fact that Margaret is like the one person who can speak truth to her.
She's the sister, man.
She's the one person who can dress Elizabeth down.
Yes, she can. 100%.
Yeah. And she's the only one. Even Philip doesn't quite do it.
Oh, Philip. Yeah. Jesus Christ. So over dinner, Philip is like, you can't show approval.
By the way, at some point we need to use the shame bell because we have a convergence of Jonathan Pryce. He's not the shame bell person, but he's the evil priest in Game of Thrones.
Yes. Okay, you're right.
Yes.
So Philip is like, you can't show approval. The queen says she does not want to appear unkind because she's not unkind, and she doesn't want Camilla to be viewed as wicked because she's not that. And Philip's just like, you can't, she's terrible, blah blah blah. Right. She's ugly.
Fuck that bitch.
Yeah. I'll get the shame bell going. Okay. Now,
shame.
I understand what she saw in Philip. Young Philip, super hot. Let's not forget. Adventurous, fun, but he's become a real fucking tool, right?
He's an asshole.
Okay.
He's an asshole. And the way he treated his son was horrible.
Agreed. So the queen says, Philip, I think we need to accept that he has found the love of his life. He found her 20 years ago.
Right, like 30 years ago. This has been this person all along. You made him marry someone else. But he's been all in for Camilla when she was Camilla Shand, before she was Camilla Parker Bowles.
Yep. Yeah. So the headlines the next day are completely overshadowed by Diana's bathing suit.
Yes.
And Charles is super pissed.
So pissed.
He's thrown a little tantrum, and he's like, I want favorable coverage of Camilla, of Mrs. Parker Bowles.
I like that they also refer to her I love that they sometimes refer to her as Mrs.
PB.
PB.
Mm-hmm. And he says at some point, this is war. Only total victory will do.
Mm-hmm.
In Saint-Tropez, Kelly is being shuttled to what I'm calling the bang yacht, which is a little yacht.
Which is still nicer than any boat I've ever been on.
Oh, 100%.
It's nicer, orders of magnitude.
It's nicer than any boat I've ever been near.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So Kelly's, she's on the little yacht, and Dodie's shuffling back and forth between what's going on here. And I respect it. And in one scene, Dodie's chatting with William, and Diana throws ice cubes at them. And this is what I can't stand.
Okay.
Like this, like we already got enough goofiness with the movies and the music, and we don't need, okay, but whatever. Sure. We get it. Diana's fun. We get it.
Right.
So, like, I would just like to see, I don't know, like the conversation they have later, so much better. I'm so much more interested in that. Mm-hmm. Like the getting to know her. Yes.
Yeah.
So now he goes back to the bang yacht, and Kelly's pissed off. Rightfully so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And later he confides to Diana about he's back on the other boat now, and he's confiding to Diana about his troubles with his father and how overbearing his father is. And Diana says her father was very hands-off, and she said she did everything she could to get him to notice her. She wrote him every week from boarding school. She baked muffins. She ironed his shirts. She even married the Prince of Wales.
Yes, exactly. And I love that she was like, yeah, I would have loved my father to just be around.
Yeah.
Like, sorry you had an overbearing one. I would have liked mine to just show up.
Mm-hmm. And Dodie confides that he's nervous about marrying Kelly because, Mohamed doesn't approve. And Diana says, you obviously love her, or what your father thinks wouldn't be weighing on you so heavily. And she's like, you'll be fine. It's going to work out. Okay. So now the Queen calls Charles. And he's like, oh, hey, Mommy. And she's like, when are the boys coming home? How was the party? And he's like, oh, you're asking about the party? Like, this is a big thing.
It's a big step for her to even acknowledge it.
Then she tells him, I'm very happy that you are so manifestly happy.
Yeah.
What? Manifestly happy?
I don't know what that means.
Did he manifest something? Darcy and Georgie? Did you see they got married?
I did. Anyway. Ugliest ring ever, but go on.
So the end scene is we see Diana leaving Saint-Tropez, and she tells Dodie that the boys are going to Balmoral with the Queen and their dad, and she is persona non grata, cannot go. He says she can come back here whenever she wants and with whomever she wants. Mm-hmm. And she sails away with a big smile on her face, and William takes notice.
William clocks it big time, and William is not into this at all.
William is his father's son.
Yeah.
So when she arrives home, there are a ton of roses in her house waiting for her with the gold watch and a note that says, Paris next week, ? That's the end of the episode. So what do we think? This is really setting up what's to come.
It is. I liked it. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that I like how they're telling the story of we start with the crash and then we go back 8 weeks.
Agreed.
I did not realize that they only knew each other for a very brief amount of time.
I didn't realize that either.
I thought that they'd been involved a lot longer than that. I want to know a lot more about Kelly and Dodie's relationship.
I have a little bit on that.
Okay, good. I find Mohamed Al Fayed fascinating he's a horrible person.
Yes.
And I know you said it's too silly, but I like seeing her relationship with her boys. I mean, she was a very dedicated mother. She
really was. And I think what we saw in the beginning of her hugging them and snuggling up on them and that's enough. We don't need, I don't know. Maybe she was really like that.
I don't know. I mean, we'll never really know. I've always ached for those boys of losing their mother in that way at that age. So hard. And
I agree.
Did you ever see The Queen?
No.
The movie? It's really, really good. Helen Mirren, I believe, plays Queen Elizabeth. And it's basically just like a week of time from Diana's death and how the Queen handles it.
Oh, with Helen Mirren, who I love.
Yeah, how she handles it and doesn't handle it and doesn't quite know what to do. And, it was a big controversy because she didn't say anything publicly about Diana's death for days. And people were like, what the fuck? How could you not?
Something. Yeah.
Right. And the ways in which she was, by all accounts, she's a very loving, engaged grandmother, probably more ways than a mother.
Yes.
Again, we've talked about this before. Many of us have said, I haven't said because I don't have children, but many people have said, God, I wish my own parents had been the way they are with my grandchildren, that they are with me. I think this is a case here. But yeah, it's just how she's trying to support William and Harry through all of this. Okay. And then like the decision of making them walk in the procession, which I think is fucking awful. That they did that to him.
Not to bring JFK into everything, but do you remember little John with
his little salute? The salute. Oh God. Oh God. It breaks my heart every time, even though I know it's coming every time.
Heartbreaking.
But yeah, the fact that they made William and Harry walk in that procession behind their mother's casket, and the fact that Charles did it with them, which I thought, if they're going to have to do it, thank God Charles did it too.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see in The Crown how Camilla handles the things that Charles has to do around Diana's death.
Yeah.
And how she takes that. Hopefully she understands.
If I'm going to guess, I'm going to say she probably understands.
Yeah.
Camilla's not a bad person.
I don't think she is either. Both the duty of it and the fact that he's a parent first and these are his sons and that it was their mother. You know, if God forbid something happened to either of my parents, the other one would immediately be right next to me, despite the fact they've been divorced for 45 years.
Same.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at the end of every episode, guys, we're going to kind of dive into one item of the episode to see if it's true or false, or not true or false, but like how true to life it's captured here. Right. So I wanted to look at Dodi Fisher and or Kelly Fisher and Dodi Fayed's relationship to see what was going on. So apparently they became engaged after 8 months of dating. He gave her a sapphire and diamond engagement ring. And they had planned their wedding, which was scheduled to take place on August 9th, 1997. Now, they never made a formal announcement. So a lot of people are like, no, they weren't planning on getting married. They weren't. But we know that they were because when they broke up, it got ugly.
Yeah,
so if you remember, there was, and we're going to get to it, I'm sure, in episode 2 or 3, the famous tabloid picture of the kiss.
Yes, we do get to that episode too because I watched it.
Yeah. That's how Fisher finds out about Dodi and Diana. Okay, that is how she finds out about it. And what does she do? She decides to sue him. So she grabs good old Gloria Allred.
Oh, shit.
Yes. And Kelly Fisher holds a press conference in Beverly Hills where Gloria Allred announces that she is suing Dodi for breach of marital contract, having felt, quote, dismay, shock, and shame after seeing the images of him with Princess Diana. She argued that Dodi encouraged Kelly to spend less time modeling and more time with him, and he allegedly offered her $500,000 as an incentive. And Fisher says she only received $60,000 with a $200,000 check bouncing, and her lawsuit was seeking the remainder. Fisher's mother, also present at the press conference, said she gave Dodi her blessing to marry Fisher in November and that he should be ashamed of himself.
Oh, yikes. Yikes. I did know, I remember that she sued him. I did not realize the Gloria Allred of it all, but of course, it makes sense.
Yeah. At the press conference, Fisher invited Diana to speak with her about their overlapping relationships, an invitation that Diana did not, and this is coming from Time Magazine.
Okay.
An invitation that Diana did not accept. Dodi denied their engagement at the time, but admitted that he did know her.
Okay, Donald Trump. Like,
yes.
Jesus.
Now, in 2008, transcripts of telephone conversations between Dodi and Fisher were made public.
Oh.
And Fisher could be heard chastising Dodi for falling out of love with her and pursuing Diana while they were still in a relationship. She says, "We were together the whole time and you know it," and Fisher said. And Dodi could be heard insisting that they had broken up by then.
Oh, interesting.
And called her hysterical. So when the news of Diana and Dodi's deaths broke, Fisher dropped her lawsuit and issued a statement saying that she did not regret filing the original complaint, but voluntarily chose to drop it out of respect for the tragedy.
Wow.
So they were engaged. This is a he said, she said. She's wearing a ring And she's engaged. And she's suing him for not marrying her.
Right. And he gave her money. And yeah. I believe they were engaged.
Yeah.
And I believe he just fucked off to Diana.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
he struck me as a playboy, the whole thing. But more than that, all he wanted to do was please his father. All he wanted was his father's approval. And if banging Diana was going to get him his father's approval, fuck Kelly Fisher.
Yeah.
I'm going with Diana. Plus, she's hot as shit. So why not? But
it'll be interesting to see their relationship. Like, okay, I was just going to say something stupid, but then I remembered William and Harry exist. Because I was going to be like, why is he marrying into the family through Diana, who's the outcast, but she is the mother of the heir apparent.
The future king of England.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. I mean, she's not in it anymore, but she made the king of England. So she's got some standing somehow. I'm shocked
Mumu wasn't like trying to hook up with Margaret.
But Margaret's way too old.
No, for the father.
Yeah, but he's still. But
she's way too old though, because the father does have like a 20-year-old wife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's not fucking Margaret. Margaret? No, he's not fucking Margaret. Like
Margaret.
I love Princess Margaret.
I just want to say the official stance of Little Miss Recap is that Princess Margaret was fuckable at this time.
She was fuckable and she was a baller. And I love the fact that I think Princess Margaret would have been a ton of fun with a couple whiskeys in her and a couple cigarettes and just getting her to tell shit. Like she would be amazing. Yes. I love her. I do want to say, so I did look up while we were chatting because it's germane to this episode in that, Charles is trying to get his mother's approval for Camilla. And this is 1997. They don't marry until 2005.
Right.
8 more years.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was surprised to realize that the divorce between him and Diana dragged out so long. I didn't realize they were separated for 4 years.
Well, they couldn't get divorced until Elizabeth said they could.
Wow. Okay.
They can't do anything in that family.
Stay out of your kids' love lives. I mean, come on. Look what's happened.
I mean, to be fair, most of us don't have the, responsibility of the impact of who our children are with quite the way Elizabeth does. I mean, I doubt, and maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt when one of your girls gets married, it's going to be, broadcast around the world.
Not unless we go forward with our Harry plan.
That's true. That's true.
Is that age appropriate? They'll be 18 in a year and a half.
Yeah, and we're not saying it's happening tomorrow.
Right. We got 5 years down the road.
Get them through college. And then they can marry Harry. I think he's way too into Meghan, though. Sorry.
Yeah, me too. That's the whole thing.
Your girls are adorable, but I don't think they're going to kick Meghan Markle out.
Nope. No. All right. Well, Amanda, I think we've said it all.
We have. We'll be up with episode 2.
That was just a reminder on my computer to remind myself to schedule Sister Wives.
Oh, good. Yes. So we will be back in a couple of days with episode 2 of this. I have watched that one. I have not watched ahead of that though.
Okay. I haven't either. So I will watch. And if you're interested in hearing us talk about Sister Wives.
Yes,
which
please.
is another sort of fucked up family structure. You can join us on Apple subscriptions, Patreon, or Supercast.
I'm going to make a tie between The Crown and Sister Wives. The Crown and the royal family it's a little wreathy.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
Sister Wives is also a little family wreathy.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's all about incestual families is really what it boils down to.
Yeah. There you go. All right, guys.
Cody Brown and Queen Elizabeth.
Stay tuned for... Oh, Cody Brown will be like, that Camilla Parker Bowles, she's a dog.
Right.
I don't like her. Fuck her.
Right.
Stay tuned for the rest of this part 1 of the season coming up. Right? We have 4 in part 1.
4 in part 1, and then the balance will drop December 14th. So we'll basically get right up to it.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the rest.
Okay. Subscribe, share, leave a 5-star review.
Please.
We'd love to hear from you guys. Reach out to us. Of course, tell us what we've gotten wrong, which I'm sure are many things.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to hear it. Even if you want to be like, please stop with the accents, which I will.
that's fine. Yeah, and fair. Join us in our Facebook group, Backdoor Friends.
Oh, Backdoor Friends is so fun.
I love it.
It's really a lot of fun in there. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you soon.
Take care, everyone.